My point is this: that the left, okay, jumps on the minority side regardless of the facts. And these two cases, they did the same thing. Okay, um, when it was a Trayvon Martin case, you know, where this guy, I call him Zipperhead, he fucking, you know the facts about that case with the
No,
guy
I didn't. I
who
didn't.
shot the guy named Zimmerman. He shot Trayvon Martin, and basically, he was sometimes involved with the neighborhood watch. All right, and he spotted this guy, and he thought he looked suspicious, so he started following him. Right now, people are saying the cops told him not to follow the kid. The cops didn't actually say that. You see, what he said was, "Should I follow him?" And the 911 operator said, "No, you don't have to do that." That got turned into the cops told him not to follow. Right there, there's a change. You see, then he does follow the kid around in his car. Okay, and the kid who later claimed, and his girlfriend or friend that's a girl claimed that he was scared. He goes and he hides in the bushes when his house was, I think, 60, 70 yards away, they said. He laid in wait in the bushes. If you're scared, do you wait for somebody or do you fucking haul ass? What do
Hmm.
you do?
It depends. You're not gonna. First of all, if you're scared, you're not going to wait for someone. But I think that people react differently to fear. Some people would be mobilized by the fear, while others would take off.
Okay, if you're walking through the neighborhood minding your own business, and some guy in a truck starts kind of fucking profiling you, checking you out, there's that word profiling, but checking you out and watching you, and you're not doing anything, what would you do?
Continue walking.
Right? That's what I would do. I'd keep walking. I mean, if the guy came up next to me, I'd be like, "Hey, can I help you? What the fuck?" But he hid somewhere in the bushes. The guy lost him. So he's on the phone with 911. Okay, 911's asking him for an address. He says he got out of the truck. This is another difference of opinion here. He says he got out of the truck to find the guy or to find an accurate address. People were saying he got out of the truck to continue chasing the guy. Which, even if he was doing, if he's a neighborhood watch or he's a concerned neighbor, it doesn't even have to be a neighborhood watch. If I'm in my neighborhood and I see somebody and they're suspicious, I'm going to keep an eye on them and I'm on the phone with the cops. Okay. So what had happened is the kid had, ducked into a ducked into some bushes or something and gotten out of sight. So when this guy gets out of the truck and he's going down a walkway and he's looking for him, okay, the kid jumps out of the fucking bushes, approaches him, and basically starts whooping his fucking ass. Now, the few seconds in there, okay, that's crucial. But the guy comes out of the bushes, and what was heard, or he said, was the kid said, "What are you doing?" And Zipperhead was the only surviving person. Says, "Oh, nothing," and went to go get his phone and his jacket, and started backing away. Okay. Everyone else, because the kid can't speak, the kid's dead. Everyone else said, "Oh, what would you do if someone reached in their pocket?" And he was turning away. So that's how they try to justify that the kid then jumped on his ass and started beating his ass. Okay. Now everybody was saying there were some witnesses, not everybody, let me phrase that. There were some witnesses, and some people claimed that Zimmerman, okay, was over him and shot him, was over the kid and shot him down. Okay. Where what we do know, see, I watched the whole trial and my opinion changed. At first, I thought the guy was wrong. Okay. But I sat there and I watched the trial. He did get his head bashed on the concrete, but most importantly, when the shot was fired, the kid was wearing a sweatshirt and he had an Arizona iced tea, a 16-ounce drink, kind of heavy, in his pocket, and it pulled his jacket downward, you know, towards the ground. And the ballistics showed that when the guy on the bottom shot, the way the powder burned and the way the ballistic showed it, that the sweater was away from his body. In other words, it was draping down, okay, when he got shot. The only way that could happen is if he was on top. If he was down, then the sweater would have been up against his body. He would have been on his back. So that's some pretty strong evidence that the kid was on top of him. The other thing is that the back of this guy's head was, banged up and scratched up from his head hitting the fucking concrete. Okay? Okay, so now we're going from basic facts here. Exactly what happened, we have to assume a little bit. But these are what came out in the trial. So, we've got the guy, his head is scraped up, he's getting his face pounded in. Okay, and Florida law has changed that if you feel threatened of bodily injury, you're assaulted, or you feel fear, Florida law now is such that you do not even have to be hit. If there's a big guy standing over you, raving at your ass, and you are scared, you can shoot him under the law. I wouldn't recommend it, try to get your way out of it. But if a reasonable person would have cause for fear of imminent danger, imminent bodily harm, you can defend yourself. And if you've got a concealed weapon or you've got a license to carry, that includes using the gun. And that's what he did. Okay? The kid got shot, he called 911. He was on the phone 911. They came. Now, the cops had this guy for 6 hours, and they let him go. Okay? I thought at that point, if cops got the perp with the gun in a murder, they're not going to let him go. They're going to hold his ass. You know what I mean? So right there, I kind of thought, the cops are not going to let this guy go for a good reason. So during the trial, all this came out. And going back to my original point, is that MSNBC and the liberals, did you just put a cat on your head? Say something so you go full screen. I see you taking me serious here. So here's the thing, is that the left stuck with the side of the minority of the young black kid, that it was wrongful death, that he profiled, that the guy was after him, all this kind of stuff. Even though profiling is another conversation, because out of everybody that the guy came across that night, he managed to pick the one kid that was suspended from school for getting caught at school with burglary tools and stolen merchandise in his backpack. That's why he was upstate.
Quite a coincidence there.
See, look at that. You got an eye patch. Yeah, man, what a coincidence, right? So when did all of a sudden profiling, I don't know what their definition of profiling is, but if someone looks suspicious, they're fucking suspicious, So out of everybody he came across, he picked the one kid to follow. And he was right. The kid was a fucking hoodlum. The guy was troublesome. He'd been in a lot of trouble. Okay. So the thing is that the left stuck to the minority, was being oppressed by this fucking Zimmerman guy who's not even a white guy. Okay. He's Hispanic or something. Okay. And they stuck to it. And they stuck to it and they stuck to it. No matter what comes out, they stick to the minority is being abused by the majority. They stick to it. And that's what I think is total bullshit. Because when the facts come out, minorities are not always being oppressed. Minorities are not infallible. Okay? And the majority is not always at fault. You got to see what happens. And that's what I'm sick and tired of, these people. They'll pick a side, and once they pick a side, they continue, they'll stick to it no matter what. That's what's happening here with this. This case with this kid, are you familiar with this kid, with the case here with the Ferguson situation?
Yeah.
That, this gentle giant story they tried to push on everybody? There's a video of the kid doing a strong arm robbery at a convenience store, shoving the fucking convenience store owner out of the way and walking out. Everybody's like, oh, that's not him. It's fucking him. As far as I know, it was him. They broadcasted as him. Then he gets spotted by cops and gets asked to dude, what are you wearing there, Captain America? And he gets spotted. Say something, Burger King.
Have
If,
it your way.
yeah, you gotta say something so it goes full screen.
Have it your way. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm flushing it.
So man, I can tell you're into this. So so the fucking kid goes up to the cop car, punches a fucking cop in the face, and tries to take his gun. Man, come on, man. You know, I don't think the kid should have died, but that's not normal behavior, man. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't fucking do that shit. That's not normal behavior. Anyway, so now, of course, justice for Michael Brown and all this. And to top it off, now there's fucking looting. Have you seen the looting and the rioting and all this
Yeah,
kind of shit?
that shit is what I can't understand. Because, all right, you want to, all right, the thing is, with regards to these stories, I'm always stuck in the middle because there always seems to be a backstory with the victim and the fact that this person has had a troubled past, they've been doing wrong, they've been doing robberies, all that shit. So I can't really feel bad for them, except for the fact that, hey, maybe he shouldn't have died. But then again, he did have criminal tendencies, so if he did live, he would still be a criminal, more than likely. And then you got the
Damn.
cops. Now, I can't really side with them either because even in Jamaica, we do have corrupt policemen, and it's hard to tell the good ones from the bad ones. Now, this is just one event. I can't use this to make a judgment call. At the end of the day, I just can't do it. If I had other bits of evidence, such as
Judgment
the
call
fact
on
that
what, though?
on the character of the policeman.
Oh, himself?
Yeah, because in this one instance, you know, he shot a young black teenager who was possibly behaving suspiciously. Now, is it his first time doing it,
Whoa, whoa, time
or
out.
has it happened before?
Behaving suspiciously? You know,
Yeah,
they
I don't
showed the
know.
guy got assaulted. They found the fingerprint of the kid on the cop's gun. The
No,
cop said that he.
I'm just saying
Okay,
here that
okay.
if it's the first time the police officer has done something like this, how can you judge him so harshly? That's just what I'm saying. If it's the first time. If it's occurred before or if he has, actually, if he's actually alluded, what are you laughing
I'm
about?
talking with fucking Burger King here, dude.
Yeah. So if he's actually done anything, wait, I'm gonna turned off.
No, go ahead, go ahead. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. Go ahead.
So I was saying, if he's actually done some shit before where he's harassed people, he's been using racial slurs, or he's been kind of rude to minorities, then I can understand why everyone would be against him. But if this is the first time that he's done it, I kind of find it hard to be on the side of, hey, he's evil, he's a racist, and all that kind of shit. Because, yeah, I know it's gonna sound like I'm going against my race, and black people should be helping each other in these kind of situations. But from what I have seen, you do
See,
have,
see what I mean? They should be helping each other in this situation, and
yeah,
it's
but
that
here's the thing.
helping each other. Does that mean that you take someone's side even when they're wrong? That's what I'm
Exactly.
trying to say.
Exactly. Because I do agree with you with regard to that, because even in Jamaica we have that exact same shit happening. Like someone will get shot and killed by the police, but everyone come like every time this happens, there's always an outcry. There's always a group of people saying, "Hey, he was a young kid. He didn't do shit." It's
Right?
like really, like all the time this happens, and you're telling me not once this kid was actually a criminal. And I've lived in the ghetto. I've seen these kids. No, no. Most of them have done some shit. When you're living in the ghetto and you have kids running around on the streets, they're just kids. But when you have teenagers sitting there wasting time, if 50% of the day they're outside wasting time, more than likely they're not doing anything with their lives. And there's a good chance that they're actually involved with some kind of criminal activity. And you can't tell. You can't tell from looking at them. Like in Jamaica, they have this style of wearing tight pants. They sag their pants, and they wear multiple underwear. Like you have
What?
layers of underwear. Yeah, let me see if I can find a fucking picture. Um, let's see. let's see. It's like they sag. They wear one piece of underwear, and they'll sag another piece of underwear right below that. Let's see if I can find it.
I still got this fucking cold.
Damn it, I don't think I can find it. I,
Okay.
no, that's just normal sagging. But the thing is, you can tell the troublemakers. You can just look at them and tell. In
See
most
now, wait.
cases,
See now, here in this politically correct environment of bullshit, what you just said is profiling.
exactly. It is, but it works. It works.
Ah, you see.
It
But
does
if you
work.
say that, oh wait, like what happened with the Trayvon case, where people started wearing hoodies and saying, "Oh, am I a criminal because I'm wearing this?" That's the level of stupidity they got. No, that doesn't make you a fucking criminal, you know. But how did the guy pick the one fucking kid that was expelled from school or suspended from school because he got caught with stolen merch? I mean, because you people wear uniforms. You know that. Keep
Very
going, keep
true.
going, keep going. What you were saying,
That's
you know.
very
But
true.
yeah,
So,
so
like
these guys are out
during
there.
school, we wore uniforms. Now they would alter their uniforms to look a certain way. Now in Jamaica, we do have bad men gunmen who dress a certain way, and the young kids try to emulate the. All right, let's see. I think I found a picture here. This isn't the sagging one, but this is how Jamaican gunmen usually look. Pop, pop, pop. Where can I put it? I have too much shit open. Like this. Let's go to the chat. Yeah, I'm putting a link here in the chat. You can just check that out. This is actually a play. It is exaggerated, but this is generally how they dress. This is generally how they would dress. But the thing is, after living in the ghetto for some time, for well, basically most of my life, you can tell the gunmen from the normal kids.
But
Like
wait, did you
first
show
off,
it? Oh, you sent the link
yeah,
here.
it's in the chat. Go into chat. The thing is, we're still learning how to navigate this shit, but
Okay,
I,
yeah.
I think we've gotten it so
Well,
far.
these guys are wearing, dude. The guy's holding a gun and they got fucking bandanas over their face. If that doesn't,
Exactly. Take out the gun.
okay, but still, they got bandanas over their face. Or you're talking about sleeveless shirts and jeans?
Sleeveless shirt,
Okay,
jeans, and bandanas. The way they go
yeah.
about
Well, anybody
dressing.
who's anybody who's obscuring their face is up to something.
So they won't have the bananas on their face, but they'll have it with them on their person. Now, keep in mind, this is just a general like fashion statement in Jamaica, but in the ghetto, you can tell by the way they act, the way they talk, and the way other people treat them. If other people treat them with fear, then you can tell that hey, this person is someone to be assessed. If people are avoiding a certain group of young men, it's that kind of denotes that hey, these guys are dangerous and there's fear in the community because of them. But
Right.
that's just what I've seen. But from what I can tell, it's you can't just look at someone and say hey, they're a criminal. There is certain characteristics you can't deny that there are certain characteristics that violent people have or gunmen follow. But at the end of the day, you can't just look at someone and say, hey, they're violent. But in these scenarios, I find it very, very strange that, the kids come from a violent background or they've had violent tendencies. Because you said that Trayvon was actually found with stolen merchandise at one point.
He was up at his dad's house
Yeah.
because he had gotten kicked out of school, so he was staying with his dad at the time, and that's why it was in that community. Or wait, I'm sorry, his mother and her stepfather or something like that, and that's how that happened.
Why did he get
He
kicked out of school?
because he got caught with a backpack and he had burglary tools and some stolen merchandise or some jewelry. Now, they didn't press charges, okay, because I think he was a minor at the time, but he got kicked out of the school. So while he was suspended or expelled, either one of his parents sent him to live with the other parent who was living upstate. He was down here in South Florida, but while he was suspended, they sent him to live with his other parent. His parents were separated to go live with his other parent upstate somewhere. And that's why he was in that community. That's why he wasn't a regular in that community. That's why this guy noticed him. But he was wearing a hoodie. He was in the rain. He wasn't trying to get out of the rain. And then when he followed him, the guy, disappeared, which is suspicious. I mean, if there's somebody suspicious you think is suspicious in your neighborhood, and you go to take a closer look, see what they're doing, and all of a sudden they fucking disappear, the guy's hiding. Like you said, what would you do? I'd continue minding my own business. And then some people say to me, says, oh, but you're a big guy, you don't have to worry about it. This is a kid, he doesn't know if the guy's gonna try to fucking, pull a gun and try to take him into the fucking van to sodomize and fuck him up the ass, and all this kind of crazy shit. And I'm like, well, that might be a point, but if that was the case, if he was scared and his house is 100 yards away, he'd have made a beeline for the fucking house. You don't lie in wait to mug somebody, which is basically what he did. He fucking mugged the guy or jumped his ass. So, you know,
That's kind of strange. Why
obviously,
the fuck would you try to jump a police officer? Like, how dumb do you have to be to do that?
well, he wasn't, well, which one are you talking about? You talking about Michael Brown?
No, wasn't it Trayvon we were talking about?
Trayvon, the guy wasn't a cop. He was trying to be a cop. He was a neighborhood watch on and off or so.
Oh, he was a
He wasn't on
neighborhood
duty.
watch.
Yeah, but that everybody's like, oh, he had a gun. That's why he was being so emboldened, and he was a cop wannabe. Where if you look at his actions, I don't see his actions being that far from any of a concerned neighbor who you see somebody suspicious in your neighborhood and you take a look and you follow him. They're saying, "Oh, he doesn't have a right to follow him." What do you mean? You can drive anywhere you want to. You're gonna tell me that's where the political correct shit goes to the point of the absurd and being a hindrance. Like when they're at the TSA at the airport and they fucking search everybody but the fucking Muslims because they can't profile them. It's seriously? So you're going to do the exact opposite of what intuition tells you. You're going to sit here and make an old lady you're going to search an old lady and you're going to search a fucking 5-year-old kid, but the fucking two young Muslim males, you can't ask them any specific questions because you would be profiling and they would get offended. Dude,
So what about the old
it's,
lady? Wouldn't the old lady get offended too? I mean, like, come on, you're touching her
well,
old bit.
supposedly it's supposed to be random. What
Random.
I'm saying is that because of politically correct, they, you know, these, what would I call them? People in a position of authority, let's say, are 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 shut are fucking shamed, okay, and called out for doing the most obvious thing, which is if you're looking for terrorists on a plane, who's the most likely suspect? Oh, well, Timothy McVeigh was a white American. Yeah, that one guy, and 98% of them are young Muslim males. So the most obvious choice would to start with the fucking young Muslim males. But since that's an obvious choice, that's called profiling, and you're not supposed to do that. What the fuck? What the fuck? The political correctness is just absurd, man. Dude, now they got. Did you hear this school where they're talking about they're not allowed to use race in the description of a criminal if somebody commits a crime? They're not allowed to say, and there's a witness. You see somebody, a dorm room gets burglarized, and they see a young black male running out down the hallway carrying a bag of loot. They're not allowed to tell the cops, "Hey, it was a young black male. It was a male. We can't tell them if he was black or white because that would be profiling." The
That's
fucking
pretty stupid. Like,
it
that's
is.
that's a description right there.
It is. It's stupid because I think it comes to do with guilt with people that have
Yeah.
racist tendencies. Their guilt, so they try to do the opposite to compensate. And
Yeah.
bro, racism is when the race is more important than the facts of the situation, then you're being a racist. Okay, that's the way I see it. That's what I think. If if you go up to a cop and you punch him in the face,
Put a blood clot.
it's fucking. I mean, just that right there is just so absurd to begin with. Okay, and they don't talk about that. They questioned the cop. They said he was lying, and oh, he didn't look like he was injured. Dude, a fucking cop is not gonna say the guy punched me in the face for the fuck of it and he tried to wrestle my gun. And when they did the investigation, the kid's thumbprint and fingerprints were on the muzzle of the gun. He was actually trying to take the cop's gun inside the car. And I think there was a shot fired and it got one of his fingers in a car, so the kid's blood was inside the car. So it's the cop he couldn't have made that up because there's evidence. So during this whole thing with the Ferguson with the Michael Brown, you don't see them talking about that. You see them all up in the fucking cop shit, and how the kid he was a gentle giant, and it's bro, you don't fucking punch a cop, you don't try to take his gun, you're not gonna fucking have a bad day. And anyway, bro, it's fucking crazy. So these people, they all jump on the fucking bandwagon, and the left, the liberals, they take the minority side, even though the guy punched a cop and tried to take his gun. They're still trying to say justice for Michael Brown, and then the looting and the rioting. Have you seen some of that shit? The stores on fire and that?
Looting is what I can't get behind. Like, what is the point of protesting and destroying your environment?
Uh-huh.
It's like putting a bomb in your room, blowing it up, and then going back in the room the next day to resume your normal activities. It's like, what the fuck? That's so stupid.
It's a subterfuge, man. It's overwhelming the cops so that they can loot the stores. It's opportunistic. Is all it is.
Another funny thing is, I'd
That
probably
is.
be
Those fucking people stealing shit. They don't give a fuck about money.
Yeah, I'd steal some shit though. I'd steal some shit. That's just the Jamaican in me. Because like Jamaicans, we want free shit. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
but dude, seriously, you'd fucking go rip off stores and take shit, man?
I think I would. You think like, all right. The thing is, if I was there with some of my friends and I saw it happening, I'd probably look to one of my friends and say, "We could probably go down there and get some shit." That's the problem with Jamaicans. Like, we do things just to get ahead quicker. We're very
Bro,
impatient
that's
and
why
casual.
everybody, that's why thieves steal is because they want to get something for free.
Exactly.
That's the whole.
I
That's
know
what the
it's
stealing
wrong,
is.
but it's just I feel it inside that this is right. This is what I need to do. It's in my blood, man. It's just in my blood. Like, oh shit,
That's
this is
funny.
something I can take advantage of.
There's some nice ass fucking Air Jordans, huh?
Exactly. Well, I wouldn't even go for the Jordans. I would probably go for like a TV or some shit. Like,
What, a
and the thing is,
TV?
I
Yeah,
wouldn't go for a big.
that's probably the first shit that flew off the shelves.
Exactly, man. I'd go for shit that I can move with comfortably.
Yeah, a big 60-inch TV under your
Like,
arm, strolling
not a
down the
fucking
street.
16. It's like 30. 30. I can roll with that. Like, dude, I
Won't take the
don't.
60, just the 30.
Yeah, just the 30. Leave the 60 for the big guys. Because then,
That's
if you
funny.
need to run, you got the 60 and you ain't gonna get far. If you got the 30 now, you got some maneuverability under your belt. That's what you need to think about. That's what you need
Did
to think
you see the guy who got his phone stolen? One of the protesters. Yeah, one of the
about.
protesters was doing a live stream of the
And you robbed
protesters,
him?
and somebody went up and snatched his phone, right? And then you see the live stream of the phone going back and forth because the guy must have had it in his hand while he was hauling ass. So you see like 2 minutes of the phone going back and forth. You hear the guy, and he's running and streaming, right? Yeah, it's on YouTube. And then the guy stops. Oh, this is the best part. You hear him talking to somebody else. iPhone 6. And they go, where'd you get it from? He goes, some nigga.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's on YouTube. You got to look it up, man. The guy's filming the whole protest, and all of a sudden, his phone is snatched, and you see the camera, the video, as you can imagine, it would look like if you're waving it back and forth. You hear the guy fucking just hauling ass through the neighborhood. iPhone 6 from some nigga. He just says you can hear that, and then he finally figures out the shit's on. And he turns the shit off. So people are just out to fucking chaos and opportunistic and take shit, man.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they're doing that. Why they burn down those stores? Why they would start
Why would you
fires?
burn down the store? Why the fuck would you burn down the store? That don't make no sense. Like
Well,
you went to the store to loot because you liked the
right,
things
right.
that they had in there. So you loot and you leave. Why would you burn the store that had the stuff that you liked in it? Why would you
Be
do that
nice,
shit?
man. Just take the shit. Don't burn it.
Exactly. So that don't make no sense. It's like you had a two-part plan. Go in, get the shit and leave. Two parts. Go in, get the shit and leave. You're gonna add a third part that don't make no sense. That's just
They
more
fuck.
effort. That's
Yeah,
more effort.
and there's no. They had to come prepared too. There was a guy there. Maybe he found the lighter fluid. One of the YouTube videos shows a surveillance camera. The guy sitting there with a fucking barbecue lighter fluid, squirting the shit around, lighting merchandise on fire to purposely start a fire, and then it doesn't start up real quick, and he's there squirting more fluid on it. On the surveillance camera, dude. The guy purposely, like he's starting a barbecue.
I
What the
swear.
fuck?